Hi, how are you? I'm doing well, thanks. That's great. I just love meeting positive people. You seem like such a nice person. Actually, I'm not nice at all. What? That's a terrible thing to say about yourself. I didn't say I wasn't kind. I said I'm not nice. There is a difference. I don't understand. Nice and kind are the same thing, aren't they? No, not even close. Are you a nice person? Of course. I always try to make everyone happy. I avoid conflict. I say positive things. I keep the peace. That's what being kind is all about. So if your friend was making a terrible decision that would ruin their life, would you tell them? Well, I'd probably hint at it. Gently suggest maybe they should think about it more. Why wouldn't you just tell them directly? Because that wouldn't be nice. I don't want to upset them and make them feel bad. What if they got mad at me? So you'd rather just let them destroy their life than risk them being upset with you? That's not fair. I'm just trying to be supportive and positive. No, you're trying to be liked. There's a difference between being nice and being kind. Okay, then what's the difference? Nice is surface level. Kind is deep. Nice says, whatever makes you feel good, even if it's a lie. Kind tells you the truth because it cares about you. But telling people hard truths isn't loving. It's judgmental. Is it? Let me ask you this. If you saw a child running towards a busy street, would you yell at them to stop? Of course. Even though it might scare them? Even though they might cry? Well, yeah, because they could get hurt. Exactly. You'd speak a hard truth, loud, because you care more about their safety than their temporary feelings. That's kindness, not niceness. But that's different. That's an emergency. Is it? What if your friend is about to marry someone who's abusive? What if your coworker is drinking themselves to death? What if your family member's destroying their finances? Aren't those emergencies too? I guess. But it's not my place to say anything. People have to make their own choices. So you just watch them suffer because speaking up wouldn't be nice? You're twisting my words. I'm just saying that being pleasant and positive is important. The Bible even says to encourage one another. You're right, it does. But do you know what else the Bible says? What? In Proverbs 27:6, faithful are the wounds of a friend, but the kisses of an enemy are deceitful. What does that mean? It means a real friend will tell you the hard truths that might hurt temporarily. Those are the wounds. But an enemy will just tell you what you want to hear. Those are the kisses. They're deceitful because they seem nice, but they're actually quite harmful. So you're saying I'm an enemy to my friends? I'm saying that if you only tell people what makes them feel good, you're not actually helping them. You're just protecting yourself from discomfort. That's not true. I care about people. Do you? Or do you care about people liking you? What's wrong with wanting people to like me? Nothing. Unless it comes at an expense of their well-being. Nice people want everyone to like them. Kind people want to actually help others, even if it costs them their relationship. But the Bible says to be gentle and peaceful. It says to live at peace with everyone. Romans 12:18. If possible, so far as it depends on you, live peaceably with all. Notice it says, if possible. Sometimes truth creates conflict, and that's okay. So you're saying Christians should just go around and offend everyone? No, I'm saying Christians should speak truth in love. Ephesians 4:15, truth and love, not one or the other. But how is telling someone something that upsets them loving? Because love isn't a feeling, it's an action. 1 Corinthians 13 says love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. Real love cares more about someone's well-being than their comfort. I still don't see how being harsh is better than being nice. I never said be harsh. I said be kind. There's a difference. Kind means speaking truth with compassion. It means caring enough to have difficult conversations. It means being honest, even when it's uncomfortable. But people get so defensive when you try to tell them the truth. Of course they do. Do you know why? Because they don't want to hear it? Exactly. Proverbs 9:8 says, "Do not rebuke mockers, or they will hate you. Rebuke the wise, and they will love you." A person's response to truth reveals their character, not yours. So if somebody gets mad at me for telling them the truth, that's their problem. If you spoke the truth with genuine love and right motives, yes, you're responsible for how you say it, not how they receive it. But that seems so risky. What if I lose friends? Proverbs 27:5. Better is open rebuke than hidden love. Would you rather have shallow friendships built on lies or deep relationships built on truth? I mean, deep relationships, obviously. Then you have to be willing to risk the shallow ones. Nice people let things slide until relationships break. Kind people speak up early, even if things might break. You keep saying nice people like it's a bad thing. What's so wrong with being pleasant? Nothing's wrong with being pleasant. But when being pleasant becomes more important than being real, you're not helping anyone. You're just performing. Performing? Yes, you're putting on a show of positivity to avoid discomfort. That's not authenticity. That's fear. Fear of what? Fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of not being liked. It says in Proverbs 29:25, "Fear of man will prove to be a snare, but whoever trusts in the Lord is kept safe." So you're saying being nice is sinful? I'm saying that people-pleasing is sinful. In the Bible, it says in Galatians 1:10, "Am I now trying to win the approval of human beings or of God? If I were still trying to please people, I would not be a servant of Christ." But I'm not just trying to please people. I'm just trying to be positive and encouraging. Then answer honestly. Have you ever stayed quiet when you should have spoken up because you were afraid of how people would react? Well, maybe sometimes. Have you ever agreed with someone even though you knew they were wrong just to avoid an argument? I mean, yeah, but that's just being diplomatic. Have you ever given someone false hope or empty compliments just to make them feel better? Sometimes people just need encouragement. Encouragement built on lies isn't encouragement, it's flattery. And the Bible warns against flattery repeatedly in Proverbs 29:5. Whoever flatters their neighbor is spreading a net for their feet. So what am I supposed to do? Just be brutally honest with everyone all the time? No. Be truthfully kind. There's a difference between brutally honest and honest kindness. What's the difference? Brutal honesty is about you. It's venting. It's being right. It's lacking compassion. Honest kindness is about them. It's caring. It's helping. It's speaking truth with gentleness and respect. But how do I know when to speak up and when to stay quiet? Ask yourself, am I staying quiet because it's wise or because I'm afraid? Am I speaking up because I care or because I want to be right? Your motives matter. This is harder than just being nice. Of course it is. That's why the saying goes, nice is easy, kind is right. Being nice requires nothing from you. Being kind requires courage, wisdom, and genuine love. So you're saying I should just keep it real with everyone. If you mean by keeping it real, you mean being authentic and truthful while caring about people? Yes. But keeping it real isn't an excuse to be harsh. It means speaking truth in love. It means being genuine, not fake. But what if I try being kind and people reject me? Then you'll know who your real friends are. The people who love you will appreciate your honesty, even when it's hard to hear. The people who only want you to be nice will leave and, well, Honestly, that's okay. That sounds lonely. It's actually the opposite. Shallow relationships with lots of people, that's lonely. Deep, authentic relationships with just a few people, that's fulfilling. Jesus had 12 disciples, not 1,200. But what if those people never come back? What if I lose them forever? Sometimes you do. But often, not always, but often, those same people come back later, maybe months, maybe years, and they say, "You were right. Thank you for caring enough to tell me the truth." Being kind isn't always about instant gratification. It's about planting seeds that God will grow in His time, not yours. So I might not see the results right away? Exactly. The Bible tells us in Galatians 6:9, "Let us not become weary in doing good. For at the proper time, we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." The proper time, not your time, God's time. I never thought about it that way. Most people don't. We're taught from childhood to be nice and play nice and say nice things. But we're never taught to be real, to be honest, to be kind. So you're saying I've been doing it wrong this whole time? I'm saying you've been doing what you've been taught. But now you have a choice. Keep being nice at the expense of being real, or start being kind even when it's uncomfortable. What if I'm not strong enough to do that? You're not. None of us are. That's why we need God. It says in Galatians that kindness is a fruit of the Spirit. Real kindness. The kind that speaks truth and love. It doesn't come from us. It comes from God working through us. So I need to pray for kindness? You need to surrender to God and let Him transform you. Romans 12:2. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. The world says be nice. God says be kind. And you really think being kind is better than being nice? I don't think it. I know it. Because I've seen what happens when people are only nice. Relationships, they stay shallow. Problems get ignored. People suffer in silence. But when people are truly kind, lives change. Relationships deepen. Truth sets people free. Even if it hurts at first, especially if it hurts at first. Remember what Proverbs 27 said earlier? Faithful are the wounds of a friend. Sometimes love has to wound before it can heal. I think I've been afraid of wounding people. Most people are, but ask yourself, is it more loving to let someone continue in destruction because you're afraid to speak up? Or is it more loving to risk the relationship and tell them the truth? When you put it that way, I guess the loving thing is to tell the truth. Exactly. That's kindness. Not niceness. Kindness. So what do I do now? We stop being nice at the expense of being real. Start being kind, even when it costs you. Speak truth and love. Care more about people's well-being than their comfort. And trust that God will give you the wisdom and courage to do it. That's scary. Yes, but it's also right. And in the end, that's what matters. Not whether people like you, but whether you love them well. I want to love people well. Then be kind, not nice. Kind. Okay, I'll try. Good. And when you fail, because you will, remember that God's grace is sufficient. He doesn't call us to be perfect. He calls us to be faithful. Thank you for being honest with me. Even though it was kind of uncomfortable. That's what kindness looks like. And you just proved my point. You're grateful for the truth, even though it wasn't nice. I guess I did, didn't I? Yes. And that's the beginning of the wisdom. Proverbs 9:9. Instruct the wise, and they'll be wiser still. So I'm wise now? You're becoming wise because you've received correction instead of rejecting it. That's the difference between a wise person and a fool. Well, I don't want to be a fool anymore. Then choose kindness over niceness. Choose truth over comfort. Choose real over easy. That's the path of wisdom. Nice is easy. Kind is right. Exactly. So from now on, I'm going to keep it real. I'm going to be kind. That's wisdom. And that is why keeping it real is being kind.